you here? I abandoned you. I was desperate to see the stars.
Firstly, let's just take a moment to appreciate this show. Tower of God is as close to a masterpiece in its simplest form. Follow your dreams and chase the stars. On the surface, this show is maybe a 6, but we don't love 6s. I love this show because it makes you think. Because when your goals overlap with what you love, you must sacrifice one for the adverse. It leads you to questions, for example, how far will you lie to find your truth? But I'm not here to philosophize. I'm here to answer the question that had me stumped for months. The question that had me side-eyeing every motive, not only for these characters, but for the world around us. As if our perception of any individual in any given situation is presented in the way the adopted allow. The idea of Rachel Baum has is the same as it's presented to us as the viewer. We are supposed to see how her light shines. Not why, not when, but how. The same light Baum sees in her, she sees in herself. With that being said, Rachel is a woman of many talents. Her presence, her persistence, and her dedication are highlighted throughout the show.
It's the same thing. Always bomb, bomb, bomb. What does she know?
It's just when all of these positive characteristics are only distinguishable in negative light when problems arise. For example, the general consensus is that lying is wrong. But if one were to consistently lie to protect the people they love, is that individual now a bad person? And adversely, if a menace were to commit acts that are pure of heart, are they a better person than the first? The point is, morality is a spectrum, and Rachel isn't on the negative end of it, not by a long shot. It would be far too simple to brandish Rachel as a terrible person and a selfish waste of space.
You're too weak. There's an ugliness that seeps out from inside you. You don't have an ounce of charm about you.
Though I will admit that traversing her duality is tough. What is interpreted as jealousy throughout the show is actually disdain. She doesn't hate Bond by any means. If there was another way to the top, she would surely take it. She's just physically unable to bisect the tower as everyone else does. What is also presented as friendship, love, and betrayal is actually just opportunity. When literal gods and other adequate competitors surround you, and the closest person to you is a constant reminder that you aren't enough, and they are the only thing stopping you from achieving your dreams, it does something to you. It's beyond a mental break or even a lapse in judgment. How do you legitimately tell someone you love that you have to kill them to be happy?
I guess that now it's your turn to abandon me.
Let me be clear. Just because Rachel doesn't fit cleanly in a row, or we can't peg her on a board, doesn't mean she's evil or a bad person. Just because you specifically wouldn't react the same way doesn't mean her path to the top is wrong. When presented with anything and everything you've ever wanted, sacrificing the past for a greater future, would one be at fault? Especially when you never know what gears are turning in someone's head. Do you trust them? Because for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. To trust someone who isn't you is to relinquish a part of yourself. But for Rachel, this piece that she gave Baum in that cave doesn't exist anymore. Rachel gave Baum a check she knew would eventually bounce after he cashed it. So without that piece, neither party is whole. This show, through its many facets and characters, displays that morality can be manipulated, twisted, flipped, turned, spun, flopped, whatever, for any purpose, for any time. But what you cannot manipulate is the truth, in its most blatant form. Because the fact is that she isn't Rachel when she falls apart. The bottom line is that the memory of Rachel died in that cave Bomb was left in. The truth is, Rachel was so scared of the dark that she chased the highest point away from the bottom. Proof of the intense background and dancing lights suspended as the abyss deepens while any and all genuine flame fades away. So, to finally answer the question of why Rachel pushed Bomb, is that she didn't. The fact is, Emma Light did. The final episode of the first season is a monologue displaying her descent into madness, about why she did what she did, but it's less of a confession and more of a transition, a divisive split between the fall guy and the real her. There is a consistent flip between her internal thoughts, feelings, her consciousness, and the words she truly says. While her conscience slowly decays, her internal thoughts slip out through her actions, up until the point where Emma Light, or this made-up persona, is no longer a work of fiction. Emma Light is the psychopathic star Rachel thought she wanted to be. She wants Kun to keep Bomb away from knowing Rachel's existence, to avoid him, because if she doesn't, she fears he'll become a distraction for Rachel, a weak point for both of them. So to remove any distraction and to fulfill her plan, she removed Rachel and in turn Bomb from the equation.
I so wish I could have met Bomb before you did.
I want you to promise me you'll never betray anyone, no matter what happens, especially a girl.
Why not a girl?
Because betraying a girl's trust is the same thing as making an enemy of the whole entire world.